Due to my original live commentary on this part being lost because my microphone wasn't on at the time, this episode will be done with post-commentary. My apologies. To the Fire Emblem Fates Conquest Blind Run. Last time can be pretty much summed up as blood, 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 and death. Yeah, King Giant, Ham, not a villain, Hans, and Iago are all going to die horribly the next chance we get. This time, we continue the blood and death. Oh, and Anna on the Run is available. Yeah, I'll probably be doing that later on Revelation. Again, I don't see Anna being too useful at this point for me, because I really wish she had something equivalent of an offspring seal. She doesn't, so that's kind of annoying. Anyway, though, time for the regular routine, I guess. And yeah, because this commentary is not live, if I just run around randomly, yeah, talking about stuff in the live commentary, and yeah, I've kind of forgotten exactly what I said here, but I'll try and get as many of my reactions as I can. Interestingly enough, Izana is here. Now, here's something kind of strange. I actually think that we recruited Izana after the last chapter, and I accidentally saved over him joining. Like, I loaded the file, saw him join, but accidentally saved over that, so I didn't see the cutscene. Yeah, so Izana joined at this point. He joins past this point in the game after you have a level 3 hot spring. I'm also checking whether the tray is going to be effective on anyone. It does, in fact, join on both routes. This actually really surprised me. I never expected Izana to be to be playable on both. I thought he'd only be playable on Birthright. It's also a really ironic time for him to join. Hey, you just slaughtered hundreds of not innocent, but surrendering Hoshidans. I'm totally going to join your army now. I just realized also that Kaze doesn't have a katana or a sword, but I think I want to leave the bronze swords where they are. Sometimes higher accuracy and better critical evade for Arthur is useful, and sometimes Ophelia does do decent damage with the bronze sword. Speaking of Ophelia, there she is.
You may rely on me.
Okay, Jacob got a stat boost. I'm not sure I'm going to use him in the next chapter, though. And more cabbages. And hi there, Kana. 2 milk. Okay, then. And hey, look, it's the Psycho and the Hero of Justice talking together once again. They've already initiated supports. Commenters have actually told me that their support was actually different in the Japanese version, which is interesting. Something about her shirt being too tight for her bust size or something like that. Anyway, we'll now make another offering. And as much as I have kept giving Lilith milk, her speed is not nearly as high as her magic is on the other route where I gave her lots of peaches. I think it's because I waited for a while to upgrade the shrine, and so her stats were stuck at a certain cap for a while. I find that weird in terms of what her stats cap at being dependent on the shrine's level, but they don't actually tell you the stats are capped. Anyway, let's see if we can get anything in the lottery. I have been lucky with the lottery lately. And my luck ran out. Just a regular old consolation prize. I actually like that better than getting weapons at this point, though, because it's one of the few ways to get resources for me, because I don't allow myself to visit other my castles. And I guess we can try and persuade the prisoner again. Kazakh is very, very good, and I wonder if sadism will work. This is probably going to take a while, given his incredibly high stats. At least he's not level 20, though. Still has some excellent skills. I love that captural bosses still keep their skills. That's awesome. And Niles is saying innuendos and suggestive things and being a sadist. And didn't work. Okay, then. So, yeah, I'm guessing that's going to take a really long time. But let's see who's on... Okay, first I'm going to the staff store for some reason. What was I buying? Oh, I'm selling a couple of gold bars. I think I need... I don't know actually what I need. Again, this being post-commentary, I've kind of forgotten what I actually did at this point, but... Anyway, who's on cooking duty? Keaton. The basically flat-out worst cook in the entire army. Well, yeah, I can at least take my chances and see if he randomly gets a different adjective. Milk and meat. You can probably do things with meat. Yeah, Keaton is not exactly the best cook in the world. And soon we'll be getting an an equally bad cook. Secret family werewolf recipe. That doesn't bode well. And yes, it's revolting, his standard adjective. So I am not going to feed the army that. That's going to reduce stats, and I don't want to do that. Which is sad. That means we have to take on this next chapter with no stat bonuses. And considering how tough this next chapter is going to be, that might be a problem. Oh, well, at least we can go to the arena. Come on, Kamui, you can do it. Go to the arena. It's part of your routine, right? Yeah, let's check out the arena. Wonder who's on duty here. Oh, okay, it's Percy. And this being post-commentary, something's about to happen that I already know about, and I really wish I could preserve my live reaction to it. This is gonna be, let's just say this has to be seen to be relieved. So I was probably talking about Percy here in some respect. And never fear, the heroes of justice are here to team up and fight the evil enemies of the arena together. And who should go first? But looking here now, their outfits do look pretty similar. And I like Percy with that hair color. I should probably go with Arthur though, because he has the better defense, but Percy has better speed. But let's try this. Okay, hero and a dark knight. Let's see how we do here.
You've got an ace in the hole.
Okay, we're getting double, but as long as Arthur doesn't get too unlucky, this shouldn't be too bad. As long as he doesn't get criticals. Okay, thankfully no critical. And Arthur actually got very lucky there, surprisingly. Shame that he's only equipped with an iron axe, though. He could really use much better than that. That's one down. Now, Battle 2, Sorcerer and Hero. I'll be doing a lot of damage, but I'll be taking a lot of damage in return. Arthur doesn't really like magic, and yeah, that's a lot of damage, but we are doubling. And Soul is great in the arena as one of the few sources of healing here. Okay, so that's good. All we need to do is, we pretty much got this in the bag, right? We got this totally in the bag, haven't we? Oh, wait! Arthur's luck is terrible. Yeah, that actually happened. That... Yeah, if you could get my live reaction to that, that was basically just, what? 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 Really, Arthur? Really? 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 And Percy, too, I'm disappointed. You're supposed to be the lucky one. We had more luck in the fight when we had 60% chance of hitting. Anyway, to the private quarters, and it looks like we got this event again. Where should Kamui touch today? This time we shall touch your neck! What? I'm gonna have to show the Bond sequence next because we actually got something new this time. Because we're about to get a second full row of hearts. Interesting that Odin is slightly ahead of Scarlet in this regard. And yes, because we're now at 2 full hearts, we can now get the love bracelet at the accessory shop, if I had an accessory shop on this route, which I don't. So I'm going to have to wait until Birthright to show that one off. And unfortunately...
Our love is too real for my...
Odin is saying the exact same thing that he said when we got a full heart before, so I'm pretty sure that his confession of his real identity is only in the full heart for having an A support, so I think I've missed that forever. So, now it's time to invite someone in. Who can we invite in today? We've got a lot of people that we've already seen before, but the one we haven't seen before here is sadly Controversy Incarnate, so I guess we're going to have to invite her in. So let's do that. Let's see what you have to say. I like the colour of her shield there, it actually matches her hair. The cheer up dance! Yeah, unfortunately Soleil doesn't really turn many people's frowns upside down because she spreads controversy wherever she goes. As for what she says here, well, you'll see.
Phew, it's hot in here. I'm just gonna take off my... Oh, sorry. Is that not appropriate?
Yeah, that's not doing her any favors. She's bisexual because girl on girl is totally hot, but male players don't have to worry about any girls stealing her from you because she can't actually S-support any of the girls, and she loves taking her clothes off in public. Isn't that just a great character? Yeah, that basically sums up how I feel about her. She really only exists for fan service for the most part, and I really feel like Fire Emblem should just be a lot more than that. It really disappoints me that they'd actually stoop that low. Point that I decided I need to do a bit of inventory. Oh, by the way, yeah, I just realized Hes Honest here. I think he's a little bit higher level than he was when I got him on Birthright, and I think these characters that you recruit from having a certain My Castle structure at level 13, they actually are auto-leveled depending on where you get them in the story. He, of course, starts off with no weapons, which is a little annoying. But, yeah, so the later you actually recruit them, the higher their level and stats are. Since you actually can get them always after a certain point as long as you have one of those facilities upgraded. With Izana, you have the ability to upgrade the Hot Spring to level 3 long before Izana's minimum joining point, so for me it actually took quite a while to get him, but this is the earliest point you can have him. Starting with 2 rally skills is actually pretty decent though, and yeah, I'm just showing off the Hot Spring because that's what you need for Izana. And at this point I kind of thought that I might need to forge some weapons, or spend some of my gold on some new weapons, because I was just checking through of these, the swords here, we don't even have any silver swords. Not only that, we actually don't have any real sword specialists in our main party at all other than Xander, which is kind of odd, but yeah. We also don't have a silver axe at all, which surprised me. So, in fact, I don't think we have any silver weapons, period. So, I think we need to do something about that, because we definitely needed... Oh yeah, we have a silver bow, though. That was for Niles, but mostly because Niles' attack power was terrible otherwise. And we don't have the equivalent of a silver tome. We do have Moonlight, though, which could be interesting. We've got a few spare staffs as well. Oh yeah, here's the Bouquet staff. Now, from what I hear, you actually can randomly get that given to you when your spouse gives you flowers. So, it actually does have a gameplay effect. We also have some stones and some more seals and stuff like that. So, I'm thinking that we need to forge a few weapons, which is the next best thing to silver weapons, and maybe buy a couple of silver weapons. Oh yeah, one thing that I was told to show here, Forrest as a Malignite. Apparently people told me that he'd be better than Percy. He does have better magic, but his speed is quite a bit lower, and he won't be as defensive, so... And it's kind of a shame that I'm not really using Charlotte, but kind of had to drop her. She was actually a bit RNG screwed for me, and I never really planned on bringing her to endgame anyway. So, let's see if we can buy ourselves some new weapons. Oh yeah, I actually thought at this point, you know what, it's about time we bought Mjolnir for Ophelia. That stacks very well with her personal skill. It's not all that reliable, but she does get a relatively like 40-ish% crit rate, high 40s crit rate with it, and given that one crit from it is usually death to anything, definitely useful. A forged Mjolnir on Odin would also be awesome, but Ophelia can actually get the benefits much more easily because she doesn't even need it to be forged. And for now, I think I might actually... So yeah, we can get silver swords, they're a little too expensive. Brave swords may be useful later in the game too, even though they've been heavily nerfed. They only strike twice in the player phase now, and they lower your defenses quite a bit. They also only have the power of iron weapons. I am quite glad for the nerf though, because brave weapons were kind of stupid in Awakening. It's actually a little strange. In Awakening, they were A-ranked. In earlier games in the series, brave weapons were B-ranked, and yet didn't feel as overpowered, so I guess you had easier access to them in Awakening. Anyway, rescue staff I put on at least because I thought that it might help me at some point. And as for other things, I think I'm okay on staffs on Dwyer for the moment. But, yeah, luck +4 is until the end of battle, which means that it lasts for an entire chapter, which is actually pretty awesome. Might be kind of useful to Arthur, I guess. And yeah, now's the time when I decide to forge a few weapons. Because if we can't afford silver weapons, we can almost definitely afford some forged weapons. We could forge a bronze sword, but that would require using Arthur's, and I don't really, Again, this would require using one of Arthur's weapons, and that's not good. Now, seeing as I'm not using Charlotte, I may actually want to forge that steel axe on Camilla. As for Nina, okay, I'm not using Selena or Soleil. I could actually forge that iron sword with one of theirs. Probably forging the iron bow might not be a bad idea as well, but yeah. So yeah, I decided here, seeing as I'm not using Soleil, I might go for this. And since this is Nina we're talking about, I have the perfect name for this weapon, actually reusing the name from one of Mary Sue's old weapons, all the way back when Mary Sue was in Fire Emblem 12. I really hope this doesn't cause Nina to get possessed by Mary Sue, but anyway, we're gonna call this weapon this. Get it? Because it slashes people? Yeah, one of Mary Sue's old weapons. Actually, forging Niles' iron bow is not bad, because, well, I'm not really using him all that much anymore. Sadly, we can't forge an Iron Yumi. We do have an extra bronze dagger in the convoy, so I guess we can forge this one. And so, when thinking about this, I was thinking, medical scalpel, maybe? And then I thought operation, and the first thing that came into my head when I thought of operation is this. Also seems to fit for Midori in general. Operation, I hate ouchies, and enemies will too. Actually, not so much, because this weapon didn't end up being very useful. Spoilers. We can actually make a +2 weapon, though, because Dwyer has a +1 Forge Bronze Dagger. So we can actually forge this up to very high hit rate and 6 might. Sadly, still can't critical, but that might be okay. We also have Effie here. I could technically forge using Perry or Benny Steel Lance, because I'm not actually using either of them anymore. Forging this Steel Lance might be useful, and I have a good name for this one. Now, I'm not fully sure if this is how you spell it, but it gets the point across regardless. Yeah, I can't resist making those references with Effie. And then we have, Mozu. Mozu I could definitely use a forged iron bow for. Yeah, we're doing a massive forging spree here, but seriously, this late into Conquest, we need this. Trust me, we really, really do. So, we're gonna call this, this kind of took... Oh, right, okay, there we go. So, yeah, I came up with the perfect name for this. I thought, I basically swore that I'd name the next forge weapon for this. We're going to call this thing the Goat Slayer. Doesn't exactly slay goats, it more slays things that smell like goats, but that is apparently every enemy in Mozu's eyes. And we can actually forge that steel sword with something in the convoy, and since we aren't using Soleil, that might actually be useful to us. Problem is, since this isn't for anyone in particular, I don't really know what I'm going to name this weapon, but this might prove useful eventually. So yeah, I was a bit confused on what to name it for a second here, but eventually... Eventually I settled on this. Non-specific weapon for Conquest, I'm just going to go ahead and call it Conquest Blade. Yeah, unimaginative, but yeah. Not sure who I'll give that to, but yeah, we actually don't have very many people who can even use even C-ranked swords. It's kind of surprising. I usually have a lot of sword users in my endgame teams, but in this game, not so much. I really wish Arthur could use better swords. Well, I got Kamui as my main sword user, but she's already got a personal weapon. I really wish Arthur could use better swords. Weapon ranks in general take a long time to rise in this game, and I'm in a really long time. Yeah, I'm just seeing here that Xander's pretty much the only one who can actually use this, and he's already got a good enough personal weapon. Also, yes, I've noticed Mozu now has 2 forged weapons. But yeah, as you can see, very few of my characters actually have a decent rank in swords. So I've mostly, again, been using Kamui for that because of her Grim Yato, which is better than probably anything that I can ever forge. If only Ophelia had a higher sword rank as well. Yeah, I'll probably need to buy those arm scrolls from the armory eventually, but it's just really, really... Yeah, I'm just showing that that's better than anything I can forge. It's just kind of annoying. Weapon ranks take ages. In fact, I don't even see how even getting S ranks in this game is actually quite difficult over the course of normal gameplay. I know that's to compensate for weapons having infinite uses now, but anyway, so we've got a few supports. Weirdly enough, Kamui and Charlotte, Odin and Mozu, Midori and Kaze, and that is basically all. So, I'm going to do this one. This one just came from that random conversation, and this one's kind of interesting. It's a bit of a weird support, though, because, like, throughout this whole support, I kept wondering, when is she going to drop the act? When is she going to drop the act? She's, of course, going to drop the act eventually, isn't it? And you'll see. Well, seeing how much food improves the army, I guess that doesn't make sense. And the thing is, apparently I've heard Charlotte is actually quite a good cook. I just got unlucky and got a bad random adjective with her last time. So, yeah, she was cooking it, and... yeah, it's actually not bad. She's a pretty good cook. But at this point, I'm wondering, she's got an ulterior motive here. Is she trying to hustle Kamui here? Does she clearly want something? But yeah, her facade didn't drop at all there, which is kind of interesting. Maybe it will in a B support or something. Anyway, Odin and Mozu. Now, I wanted to say something. Mozu was actually my planned marriage option for Odin if Male Kamui had gone with Noor. Main reason for that is that I wanted to make Odin's child have the most amazing stats ever, and so aptitude. Not sure how they'd look with dark hair, though. But anyway, so yeah, here's a glimpse of a pairing that we may have actually done in another world. And Odin is being hammy as usual. Mozu is tending the fields as usual. Well, considering Keaton's currently on mess hall duty, nothing's going to taste very good at this point. But Odin is actually helping her, which is quite nice. And of course, he has to... yes, he has mastered the art of hammy farming. Hammy farming makes everything better. Yeah, this is really good. Yes, the powerful hex known as hammy farming. But Moz doesn't appreciate the help. I'm not really sure about that support. Anyway, now we just have Midori and Kaze left. This one's interesting because I like to think that in the last battle, Midori used a special secret ninja technique that Kaze taught her to shoot an arrow at a specific point on Yukimura's body to paralyze him and enable them to take the fort uncontested. Then the massive slaughter happened and Midori probably blames herself for it. So these two need to have some father-daughter bonding time and he needs to comfort her about it. As a ninja, he's probably witnessed his fair share of pretty brutal stuff. However, they're of course going to talk about something different. Huh. And this is where things get a little weird. Midori, you're just kinda creepily smiling there. Yeah, your expression isn't changing. There's something suspicious about this. Very suspicious. But she actually has a very nice reason for being this shifty. She just doesn't want to take up all his time. And B support out of that. I'm wondering how the A is going to go, because that was actually kind of sad, but yeah, Midori is very nice. I like that support a lot. And so, there's really not much left to do here, except we might be able to build a few more buildings. And we can build a Xander statue now. So, let's go ahead and put that in. We can also build an accessory shop to actually show that bracelet, but I'd rather spend my Dragon's Vein points on stuff actually gameplay relevant. We can upgrade the prison, but I don't really think it's necessary. I think we've actually captured every boss that we can capture at this point, or at least we've run out of bosses to capture. So, yeah, missing Haitaka and Kumagera, but we have no more use for the prison. We can upgrade the lottery shop for better odds, but I think right now, maybe it's about time we can also upgrade the golems. And yeah, we can upgrade Lilith's temple, but I'm not sure what good that's going to do us. It's not going to bring her back. Anyway, I thought now is about time to actually upgrade my resource gathering spot. So let's have even more milk in this castle. And upgrading these means we get to use them again. I think Ophelia's quote actually changed. And sorry, Jacob, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to talk to Kana to get my milk. 5 milk, yeah, that's definitely an improvement. We're going to have lots of speed boosts, and that's great. And now, next time, it is time that we get Takumi'd. Fair warning, the next one is gonna be 2 parts long. This is quite a long chapter, but trust me, it's worth it. See you then.